We are Julia and Sven with our dog Felix. Over the past years we traveled to more than 50 countries by hitchhiking with strangers, taking night trains across continents and surviving endless long night bus rides or shaky boat trips. Sometimes we also took planes, drove our own car or just walked, which is not the best idea if you carry a 25-kilogram backpack. Most of the time we cannot get enough of traveling and love every second of it, but after a while on the road we usually feel exhausted by seeing new places, new people and new cultures almost every single day. It feels like our hearts are just too full from all the impressions and our heads are not able to process more information. During these times we miss the feeling of having a place to come back to, where you can just relax and have access to more things than just the ones that fit into a tiny suitcase. So during the pandemic we came up with the idea to buy a van and transform it into a home. We loved the fact that it would allow us to have a familiar place to come back to even though we were still traveling. Basically like a tiny home on wheels. We first looked at Sprinter vans online, but our excitement about those cars wasn't too high. Instead, these old Volkswagen buses that you can see in museums or book for photo shootings made our hearts skip a beat. We watched tons of YouTube videos, bought books about them and talked to some people who already own one of these buses. We soon found out that they break down pretty often due to their age of 50 years or older and that it's not recommended to buy one if you are not familiar with working on vintage cars like us. Did this stop us? No, of course not. So let's jump back to where it all started. There's still a lot to do, so let's just make a list. This is not the correct side. Painting of Felix, I'm sure you can see the similarity. Chapter 1. Buy a van. We looked at many cars online and the price range was immense. So many buses looked like crap and still cost over 10k, and others were pretty well maintained with a price tag of over 70k. This was way over our budget, so we had to find something in between. The first car we really liked was located in Poland, so we drove there and looked at it. The owner wanted to have 22k, which looked like a very good deal to us. At first the bus made a very good impression, but after checking the engine we realized we would have to invest a fortune to take this car on the road. We decided to increase our budget and found another decent van in the Netherlands. It was built in Germany, shipped to the US, where it spent most of its life in California. Yellow is my favorite color, so I was already in love before we even saw the car in person. After driving there, we were surprised by the nice condition it was in. Still, there were a few things that we would have to take care of. The owner made us a very good offer though, of 26k instead of 27, so we had to say yes. Yes to many adventures in the tiny yellow bus of 50 years. You have no idea how happy we were. It just felt like a dream come true. We can tick off the most important part of the list. We got Daisy! Yay! Chapter 2. Get the van on the road. The price we paid for the van included a transport from the Netherlands to our home in Germany. As soon as the car arrived, we took it to a garage which is specialized in vintage cars. For a bit more than 4,000 euros, they renewed many parts and worked on some issues.
We're on our way to the mechanic. I'm on the way to the mechanic.
I'm on my way to the mechanic.
In the meantime, our followers on Instagram came up with the idea to call the van Daisy because it looks like the flower. Daisy was now able to take us on a few small trips around the neighborhood, but still looked very old-fashioned from the inside. A few more changes needed to be made.
We got her license, she's ready to ride, so let's go!
Chapter 3. Strip her down. After taking out all of the original furniture from the 70s, we were first able to see if there was rust hidden underneath it. Luckily, it wasn't that much. We removed it and applied some anti-rust protection so it wouldn't get worse. We also found many old things in Daisy from her previous life, like parking tickets and some other stuff. It felt so nice to know that this old lady would soon go on so many more adventures to different countries. But before that, we had to upgrade some essential parts to make make living in her more comfortable. Chapter 4. Install electrics. Just as we have no idea about the mechanics of cars, we also don't know anything about electrical setups. That's why we decided that this has to be done by professionals. We soon found Car Electric, a company based in Hamburg in Germany who is specialized in installing the necessary parts it takes to transport an ordinary car into a home on wheels with power outlets, lights, running water, a kitchen and solar panel. They first asked many questions about our upcoming travel plans to calculate the most suitable options for us. We talked about aspects like the amount of driving each day, the duration at standing at one place off-grid without charging the battery in between, how many gadgets like laptops we would charge each day, etc. With all these information, they came up with an individual plan for us according to our needs. Shortly after, a super friendly team installed wires throughout the whole car, lights, a battery, a converter and many more things within only 2 days. We are super happy with the result and highly recommend Car Electric. In total we paid 5,200 euros and I think it was worth every cent because we wouldn't have been able to do it ourselves and saved so much time. We now know that the system is safe and reliable and don't have to worry about it anymore. Check. Chapter 5. Insulation. After the technical glow-up, Daisy also needed a beauty makeover. But before putting the furniture in, we had to make sure to insulate her properly to keep out the cold in winter and the heat in summer. We used Armaflex insulation, which was very easy and quick to install. The weight is very low, which was important for us because our engine is not that strong.
Let's correct the spelling error first. We got her insulated.
Chapter 6. Cleaning. The 50 years of her previous life had left some dirt on Daisy, so we spent some time to clean every corner of her as good as possible. Chapter 7. Floor, walls and furniture. Then it was finally time for the fun part. We decided to keep the original furniture because it fits perfectly into the car. The dark brown color wasn't our favorite though, and the cushions and seats needed a makeover as well. I have my little supporter over here. Personal assistant.
He's doing a great assisting, so yes.
We started by renewing the walls and putting a beautiful floor inside. Luckily, my dad helped us a lot during this period. For the old furniture, we used some foil to make it look nicer and changed all handles. For the inside of the cabinets, my dad had the idea to install racks that can be pulled out. This would help us to stay organized and to save some space. Still, we needed more room for all of our stuff and kicked out one of the seats to replace it with a big cabinet. We found instructions online on how to build a similar one like the ones we already had and handed it to my dad. On many days after work, he built a beautiful cabinet for us with a gas compartment and a foldable stove. I'm not sure what we would have done without him. Our stove and sink are from Thetford and we love to use it. It looks really nice and works perfectly. The pads from the foldable bed were very dusty, so we replaced them with customized ones from Snooze Project. We just gave them a drawing with measurements we needed and got some really nice and comfortable mattresses back. The front seats had been used to their limits, so we brought them to an upholsterer to make them comfy again. Last but not least, my mom sewed beautiful curtains for us to make sure no one can look into our car from the outside. In total, we paid 500 euros for all of this. Chapter 8. Decorations. After many weeks of hard work, Daisy almost looked like a home. We just added a personal touch by hanging mirrors, putting in some flowers and pillows. Hardly to believe that our tiny home on wheels was ready to travel in.
Done.
Chapter 9. Packing. In spring, we packed all of our belongings into the car, said goodbye to our loved ones and hit the road. The total amount we paid for the car itself, the repairs, the electrics and all the additional stuff sums up to 40k. Now we are ready to go! Chapter 10. Travel. Finally! In the meantime, we took Daisy to 4 countries and explored so many beautiful places. It makes us so happy to travel in her, and we love this way of living. We were not spared by Daisy breaking down though, and had to organize a transport for her when she stopped working in Belgium. After a ride on the Italian highway, there was white fog coming out of the engine, which led to another visit at the mechanic, where she still is at right now. So far we paid 1,500 euros for repairs in 6 months of traveling in her. We will hopefully get her back soon to continue traveling across Italy before this summer is completely over. Fingers crossed, guys. Join us on our journey and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. Bye bye.